Hello, guys, and welcome to Vegan Booty Talks. Today, I have a guest with me. She is a mom and entrepreneur. She is the founder of MiiRO, a company that offers plant-based chocolates and baking goodies that contains less than a teaspoon of sugar for the whole bag. Her company also gives her back to the community by allotting 10% of the revenue to those in need. She is a vegan and health enthusiast that has contributed to several online articles that talk about the vegan lifestyle and how to live a healthy life by reducing the amount of sugar we consume. So welcome to the show, Rym Selmi. Hi, how are you?
Hi. Hi, Evera. I'm really good. And you?
I'm good, thank you. So I have a lot of things I wanted to ask you about your products and about your journey. But before, just for audience to know you a little bit better, can you tell us where you're from and what do you do for a living right now?
Okay, so originally I'm French. So I was born and raised in France. And in my early 20s, I left and I lived in several countries. So I lived in South Korea. I lived in London, and then we finally landed in the US. So I came to New York initially, like 5 years ago, and then we are now like in Florida for about a year.
Nice. Okay, so I never been in France, which is mistake, I'm sure. But can you tell us a little bit more about why you decided to move to the United States?
Yes. So initially, I started my company when I was in London. So we were doing ice creams, like a vegan Magnum style ice creams. We were the first one, so it was really a hit. And like a few months later, we had this opportunity to come to the US, and we felt that having a plant-based vegan product, it was more like our mission, which is like to create the best possible product to convince people to switch to this kind of lifestyle, like more natural, plant-based vegan, could be like easier. So it's basically like winning the heart of each customer. And we found that if we came to the US, like the audience would be so important, so big, and they are also so ready for the change. They are always like at the avant-garde of any type of movement, especially food movements. So we found that it was really relevant for us to come here because MiiRO was more than an ice cream. It was more than a product. It was essentially a mission. So we had the opportunity. We came, and then for several years I traveled back and forth between New York and London, until COVID happened, and also until I get my daughter, because I got her like 6 months prior COVID, and then it started to become very difficult for me to travel. So I decided to move all our operations to the US. So we are brand new in the US. We've just like created a full range for our American friends that is only available in the US, and I hope very soon in Canada. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So you basically moved to the United States to kind of like, explore more and grow your company in a bigger level. But it's turned out that you got a baby, so everything a little changed in your life, right?
Yes, exactly. And we thought that because the US is a huge market for ice cream, so we really thought that it would be it would be for us, and that we wouldn't have to change our formulation and everything. But when we came here, actually, we realized that the market, like in terms of ice cream, like vegan or healthier ice creams, is already covered. Like there are great, like a lot of great vegan alternatives, small food brands that really changed the way like basically ice cream is formulated. So we thought, okay, we don't want to be like one additional product. So we really went where we found that there was something missing on the market. So a niche, basically.
Yeah, okay. So our audience don't know what you actually do because as you said, you're a new
Oh yes.
company. That was happening for me exactly. So tell us, what are you exactly doing right now? What type of product and how you got this idea into your head?
Sure. So we do like chocolate and baking ingredients that are not only plant-based but also very low in sugar. So we don't add any added like any sugar, and the sugar that is present in our product is the naturally occurring type of sugar. As a result, like every single product contain about like less than a teaspoon sugar for a whole bag or a whole bar, which is really cool. And in addition to that, so it's also keto friendly. It's not like we don't necessarily advertise it as being keto. We advertise it as being very low in sugar and plant-based. But a lot of our customers follow a keto diet and are happy with those products.
Amazing. Yes, I am in love with your products. Guys, you should try them out. I personally tried chocolates and the peanut butter cups, and I love them. The peanut butter cups was my favorite. And of course, as being vegan, find a white vegan chocolate and
Yes.
being without sugar and taste good. That was something like, whoa, that's amazing. So if you out there want to have, and you don't need to be necessarily vegan to try those products, because you just want to try them out because they are much healthier than the regular chocolate. Because right now, to find a really good chocolate out there is hard. It's all packed in sugars and substitutes and milk powders and sometimes milk fats too, which is like getting me crazy. I remember I got the chocolate in the store. I read the label on the front. I was like, in a rush. That is a dark chocolate, like 99% dark. And I was like, okay, great. So I took it home. I actually opened up, take some piece, and the next day, and I was like, I was tasting milk. And I know me, like I don't eat milk for over 7 years, so I can taste it. So I was like, hold on. I look on the ingredients list and it has milk fat in it. And I was like, what? What the
Yeah,
heck? I felt
I
so
know.
bad. Like on the side of adding sugar, even to the dark chocolate, they add milk fat. Why are you going to do it in a dark chocolate 90%? So stupid. So I really like your products because of that. They're really clean ingredients. As a nutritionist, this is what I'm looking for, especially in those treats. If we can win in the treats and have less substitutes and less bullshit in the ingredients, and also have low calorie intake, that's also great, right? So guys, definitely go ahead and try it out. I'm gonna leave the description link down below where you can buy the products and then try it by yourself. But I'm totally in love in that, and I recommend it in the recipes as well. I did tested my protein cookies with your chocolate chips, and it was amazing. So yeah, I love it. Love, but
Thank you
so
so much.
yeah, it's
So you
really
said
great.
something. I mean, you said something that is very interesting, right? You said I tried like basically I bought a dark chocolate bar. I was in a rush. I didn't really look at the ingredient list, and then I could taste the milk. Really, vegans are people that have re-educated their palate and taste buds, and they can like taste the milk immediately. So what I wanted to say is, in terms of chocolate, the word chocolate is not very regulated here in the US. In Europe, it's very regulated.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a few companies that will abuse, kind of like they will write dark chocolate, but you will find some milk components.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so so that's why you're never really safe when it comes to dark chocolate. If you want really a good one, you unless you buy from a vegan company that clearly disclose vegan on the front pack, you might have some bad surprises. Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm happy you are here and then you have a clean product. So that's great. But let me
Yes.
also ask you deeper, because I see you're passionate about what you do. So how you actually become vegan, being in France, and what pushed you to move to this new lifestyle in the first point?
Okay, so I will respond to this question, and I will also respond to why I created my company, because it's very much linked and it evolved like all together. So the stories are really like in parallel, like happened together. So I used to be like in a job like in a job that I hated, like where I used to do crazy hours. That was very hectic. And because I needed to spend a big part of the night up to work, and then I just had like a few hours sleep, and then I had to go back early morning. So when I say very late at night, I'm talking about between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Like I had to be at the office,
Wow,
and
what
then I
did you
would go
do?
home. I was in banking, so it was not a good experience for me. I landed there because I didn't know what to do in my life. I just followed the crowd, and and it happened that I really didn't like it. So, and then at 9 a.m. I would go back to work, and what happened was that I felt miserable, and I had to rely on sugar and of course coffee every single, like I used to drink like 10 coffees a day, but anyway, like a lot on sugar too. And then I felt that if I continued to do these kind of jobs, I would just kill myself. So I quit my job, and I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life at that time. But one thing for sure, I wanted to use this time to really reconcile myself with my body and try to understand and figure out how I could build better habits. So I at that time, so it was about, I think 7 years ago or something, and I heard so many good things about dairy-free diet. So I'm not
Mhm,
saying vegan, I'm saying dairy-free at that time. And I thought, okay, let's do a 14-day challenge, and I will try to see if I can do it.
mhm.
And oh my God, the results were absolutely amazing. So like I was more productive. I mean, I could sleep much better. My skin was better. And then I thought, okay, let's push the challenge a bit further. And I've never been a big meat eater anyway. So I thought, okay, let's start a plant-based diet, like just for 14 days as well. And when I did it, it was for me the best thing I did in my life, like hands down, like for my body, for my health. I had the kind of energy that I didn't even know that I had. And for me, it changed everything. And then a few years later, we started to hear about like the environmental impact of like farming, and the kind of like the cruelty as well practices made on like animals. And I
Yeah.
started to educate myself, and I this is where it started like to anchor even more. Like I felt that okay, I was doing it initially for me, but now the purpose was bigger. So that's what happened. So then I started a new job, um, and I don't know, I felt like a square trying to fit in a triangle or a round or like any other shape, and I didn't fit with this corporate culture. So I went from banking to like a more corporate environment. I felt that I'm a very creative person, and I didn't know that at that time. And that's why for me it was really every single day waking up and going to work was so hard. So
Mhm.
so during that time where I started my new job, I also kept, of course, socializing and everything. But when I socialized, for example, when I used to go to dinner parties and everything, I would do things slightly differently because I started this plant-based diet that I loved. So I had to prepare my own, like for the main, you can always take a bit of salad and everything, especially at the time, like there were not a lot of plant-based options. So you can always take a bit of rice and have a meal. But desserts was very difficult.
Mhm.
So I used to create every single time some like kind of Magnum style ice cream at home. And I used to sweeten them with dates and cover them like in a very rich chocolate, and I loved it. And it had like 30% less sugar, and it was plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
So, and every single time, like I would prepare some for myself, but I would have just one left because I have a sweet tooth. So I like they were mini bites, right? I mean, very small. So I would prepare 5 or 6 for me, and I would just have one left just for me because everyone was taking some. Up to a day where I could hear like, "Hey, Rym, why don't you bring some of your ice cream, or why don't you do more?" And to go back to my job, I felt really miserable again. And for me, it was a failure, and that I couldn't really like my job. Um, so I thought, okay, I mean, I have something here, right? So let's try to commercialize it. I was very naive. I thought that with a recipe, you could get a product. It's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I started like to read every single R&D report, and we ended up doing like some research and development for over 2 years before
Mm-hmm.
getting the product like completely like commercialized. So in the UK, it had really good success at launch, and 6 months later, we decided to move to the US.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept it running for I think like 1.5, 2 years more. But then I said, okay, I have to pull the plug because I cannot keep traveling back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I did enough market research in the US to understand that anyway, we couldn't bring the ice cream here because there were already so many great alternatives. And then I got pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
and I contracted gestational diabetes. So so this is where I became even more conscious of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is where I decided to on top of a plant-based diet, to have like a no added sugar diet. And that's essentially what happened. I started to follow a no added sugar diet, and that's why I formulated those products, because they fit my needs, and they also fit so many needs, because people who follow a plant-based diet generally are very like aware, like in terms
Mm-hmm.
of very educated in terms of health and everything, and they want like to lower their sugar intake and everything. So so I didn't have the keto diet in mind whatsoever. But then it happened that most of our customers are either people that are just health conscious, they are not vegan at all. They yeah, they just want something that is healthy for them. And we have also a lot of keto people.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it's amazing story. It was a long answer, but thank you for exploring all of that
Yes,
and
it was a very
explaining.
long answer.
But that was amazing. I enjoy it so much because I know now all your story in small, short sentences. But I have a question to you. What
Yeah.
do you think was the hardest part for you? Uh, First of all, taking dairy out and then going plant-based.
I think taking dairy out was not difficult for me because there are so many, like almond milk is delicious, right? Oat milk is amazing, hazelnut milk. So I think that if you do a little bit of research, for example, in my coffee, I use hazelnut milk. Always, it's just delicious. Or cashew milk. And then if you want something with a bit more proteins or to bake, soy milk is amazing. So it's more like very early on, I started to educate myself about it. So I think that because there is for every single taste, like every single person can find something to its taste. It's more about finding what is the best plant-based for each application, like each way you want to use it.
Mhm.
So for me, yeah, I educated myself, so it made it very easy.
Nice. So, do you feel any difference in your health, in your performance, in your recovery, in the way you feel when you move to the plant-based lifestyle?
Yes. It was obvious. to a point where I felt so good that I challenged my husband to do it for 2 weeks. And he could feel exactly, no, he was like, I mean, you feel good. I mean, you seem to be like really good in your skin. Like, it's amazing. I want to be able to try it. And he tried it and he too. So for me, like, I was more productive. I could sleep better. I had a better skin. I was addicted to my espresso after lunch because I felt really exhausted after each meal, and I no longer needed it. So it was, the level of energy was just incredible. So yeah, so many health benefits.
Nice. Yes. And the most common is having more energy. This is I hear all the time from people here on my podcast. And the skin change, that's too amazing benefit of plant-based diet. But plus, I'm gonna add to this that we all save this world because the environment changes in the world where it's crazy because of dairy and animal industry. So I think by going vegan, we also really extend life of our planet, not only our lives, right? So
Yes.
we change the world from the inside too, and that's amazing. And that's why I love people like you who create the best products and being vegan. So I sure it's in the future gonna help us to, more people worry about our environment and save the planet. And I am really happy that I can support, and I encourage you guys support more plant-based and vegan companies out there, especially those who have a great products. So
Thank you.
that's for sure. Now I want to talk about a little bit of other things you like to eat, because a lot of people who listen to us, they are most likely vegans, but some of them are wanted to try add more plant-based meals in a diet. So I want to see if you can share with us your favorite top 5 vegan proteins.
Okay, so I would say the number one is tempeh. And the reason why I love tempeh so much is because, like, if you put the right seasoning mix, it can be really delicious. So I would say that's the first one. The second one is soy, especially when I do like some scrambled eggs with soy. I think it's really delicious. So you put a bit of turmeric, cumin, like those kind of flavors, and it's just incredible. So, and then I really love the like lentils. Because I use lentils a lot with mushrooms to create this meaty flavor. It's great for the texture, and it's really great like to recreate like the meat kind of like taste. I mean, especially
Mhm.
when you mix it with nuts and flavoring.
With what did
So
you
these
mix
are
it?
my,
Like lentils?
with
Mhm.
nuts, like for example walnuts, and
Mhm.
then you add also a bit of flavoring, like smoked paprika, for example, and you just put everything in a blender, and it's just the best thing. So these are my three favorite things. And then, so when I cook, I don't cook necessarily with proteins in mind, like calculating the amount of proteins. So, but I mean, of course, like I always have like a batch of this at home. So chickpeas are great for this as well. And then I would say for the fifth one, nuts,
Mhm.
almonds, like a train mix, basically.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for sharing this. So, what is your favorite spices? Because you mentioned it twice. So, what spices? You
Yeah.
said paprika, and what else?
So I love smoked paprika. So it's very specific if you want to create this kind of bacon kind of flavoring. It's really
Mm-hmm.
good for that. I love cumin. I think it's amazing. Then like Indian spices like curry or garam masala or those kind of things. And then for the sweet stuff, I really love cinnamon. I think it adds so much. Yeah, so these are really my go-tos.
Nice. Yes, I want to mention here because a lot of the time I hear from my clients that they don't like how tempeh or tofu taste. So
Yeah,
this is the secret she's sharing with us. It's the flavors, what you add on
that's
top,
it.
right?
Exactly. Yes. So basically, you need to have a few staples in your pantry. So I would say number one is spices. That's like, I cannot do anything without spices. The second thing is, if you want to have like some soy or tamari, tamari is the gluten-free version of soy, and then some vinegar and lemon, you can do like, you can replicate so many things, and balsamic vinegar as well. So these are really the staples.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. I am agree 100%. Now I want to move to your career question a little more because I have a lot of people out there, I'm sure, who want to do what they love. And your
Yeah.
story is inspiring, but I'm sure it wasn't easy to achieve and to become so independent and do what you love, what you're passionate about, and make money, enough money from that. But can I ask you, what does, one of the things you wish you know before you began your career?
Um, so one of the things I wished I know was, um, yeah, I think that one thing that is very important is that you cannot have it all. So at some point, you have to be very clear with yourself and compromise some of the things. So to give you an example, when I got my daughter, I wanted to educate my daughter myself, to raise her. I wanted to keep running my business. I wanted to do this and that, keep cooking and everything, and I burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that at some point you need to compromise. And for me, I came to the conclusion where what really matters for me, number one, is my daughter. And she's at an age where she needs her mom. And number two is my business. So that's for me, there's no, like, these are the two things that where I spend like all my time on. But then, for example, cooking, cleaning, and everything. So my mom comes from time to time to the US to help me. Otherwise, we try to outsource it because you cannot make everything yourself. It's not feasible. So the second thing that I for me, when I started, I didn't know, like, I was chasing a goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the goal may happen even in 15 years, even in 10 years, you don't know. So you cannot like waste your life. Let's assume it happens in 10 years. So during like those 10 years, you cannot make your life like an impossible life to lead, full of disillusion, or disappointment, just because you haven't reached the goal yet. You might not even reach it. Maybe it will be something else for you, something even better than you have thought of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important that you take every single moment as if it was the last, I think, especially when you are with your family and your dearest friends. And because like the camp, like, success doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of compromise and sacrifices. And because of that, if like every day you put 100% of yourself emotionally, you will feel drawn. And especially if you don't have the result immediately, it will be like you've wasted your life, and it shouldn't happen.
Yes, exactly. I'm so happy you talk about that. It's amazing advice for anyone who listened to this because not the result is important. The journey, that's what we're looking for,
Yeah.
right? And if the journey to your goal, to your dream is not good and not joyful and not worth it, your life is could be better without that. And we don't know, sometimes we place the goal in our head and we think it's important, but actually what's happening right now, your life, that's what's important. And
Yeah.
I felt it so much just recently because, as we talked before I started the podcast, I'm Ukrainian. So my family, all my friends go through a real war right there. And all those goals, all those dreams is not what they are worried about right now. They
Yeah.
are worried only about to be safe and spend as much time as possible with your family and lovely ones, because that's what important. So, and
Yeah.
so it's just an example of like someone having everything and then don't making important things is in life in a point and in perspective. So I think your example, even with your daughter, is amazing. By the way, how old she is?
She's 2.5.
Okay, yeah. And then is she vegan? Is it even possible to be vegan, to have a
It
vegan
is
kid?
possible.
Okay,
It is
so
possible, but okay. So we did a bit of research regarding our daughter. So we know it is possible, and we've done a lot of research for that. We give her a diet that is about 90% vegan.
mhm.
Initially, it was 80%. Now we increased to 90%. And the reason why we do that, there is a reason. I'm not very happy about this decision, but we was the healthiest, I mean, the safest one is for allergies, because they showed so there it's really backed scientifically that when you introduce your like basically eggs, not sesame, sorry, because this is vegan, but eggs or like any other form of allergies, dairy and those kind of things, very at a very late stage of development, it is likely that the child will develop one of those allergies. So we thought, okay, so let's make sure that most of her diet is vegan until the age of 4. We will introduce from time to time an egg here, like a bit of milk there, a bit of just for allergies, and then we will remove these at the age of 4. So that's how we are doing it.
Okay, so basically, if you have a kid, you have to give it at least 20% on non-vegan stuff, just to make sure it doesn't has the kid is not going to develop any allergy or sensitive to this specific type of foods when your kid is growing up, right?
So I don't know what is the advised portion. I haven't found like a specific percentage, but we decided to do it this way, to start with 80. And now she's now 2.5. So like very recently we adjusted to 90%, like her vegan diet. So and I can confirm that she is not smaller or thinner than other children, because one of the concerns that many parents have is the fact that if you provide 100% or a major like vegan diet, your child will be like skinny or will lack a lot of nutrients. It's not the case. Ours like has like 90% of her diet that is vegan, and she's not lacking anything.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. But did your research, but you didn't like mention someone is actually say that. So the doctors didn't support your choice. Am I right?
No, I mean, so if your question, what I haven't found what the exact percentage, like how long we should, but no, doctors don't, I mean, the doctors we've seen didn't support our decision.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to do it progressively and see how it goes. So very often doctor will be like, yeah, but it's dangerous, and yeah, it's possible. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but for us it worked very well, and I have a lot of friends that raise their children like that too, and it worked very, very well for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know which data they are taking into consideration. I don't know if it's their internal fear or their instincts that say, no, don't raise your children vegan. I don't know. But for us, it worked. And for like some of my friends' children that are raised this way too, it has worked very well.
Yeah, it's amazing information. And the reason I spent so much time and asking you about this is because it's not a lot of information about that out there, you know? So yeah, it's still like topic that no one is talk about. So I want to clarify it as much as I can. And I eventually maybe we all my guests in the podcast who has and raised kids vegan gonna come up together and we're gonna, you know, develop some book or some 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 instruction how to raise your kids vegan, because this is really hard. You kind of lost, and I am thinking to get my kid, and I'm like, I'm sure I wanted to raise it vegan, but I'm looking for information, and it's nothing like really clarify. There's no research out there, and it's hard. So it's good to know that someone is doing this and it's working well. So that's why I asked.
Yes. I mean, we like for it, we give her, for example, a lot of like as a protein source, for example, some almond butter. We take like some fortified milk, like soy milk or almond milk that is fortified. Like she can like find like some proteins through actually even through rice contains proteins. So we do like tofu, we do a lot of things. So that's how she managed to get her protein intake.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this information. I feel I can talk to you forever, but we have to kind of finish up. And I have a last question that I ask everyone on my podcast, but this is a hard one, so get ready. what
Okay.
what you gonna do if it's going to be the last day of your life on this earth?
Praying for sure. and yeah, and just saying to the loved ones what I've never said to them before. I think that would be it.
Oh, why you didn't say that to them before?
Sometimes like I don't know, there are stuff that you don't say just because, for example, my parents are not people that say like their feelings very openly. For example, like my siblings and myself, we know they love us, but they will never say it out loud, like articulate it. And maybe there is a bit of this in me as well. So I show to people I care about that I really love them, but I won't articulate explicitly things. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, thank you so much for sharing this. I really wish you can share and express your feelings to your family and friends and lovely ones every day,
Yeah.
because we don't know when is going to be that last one. I'm
Yes, you're
talking
right.
to you about the perspective that's going on with Ukraine right now, so I know what I'm talking about. So
Yes,
do
of
say
course.
that now, really do. And I am thankful for you finding time and show up today. I have a small game that I play with everyone in the end. So it's like a rapid fire. I'm gonna say two things and you should choose one quickly. Sounds good?
Okay. Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Black or purple?
Purple.
Gym or outdoor workouts?
Outdoor workout.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Juice or smoothie?
Smoothies.
Wine or water?
Water.
Chocolate or sweet cream?
Chocolate.
Kiss or hug?
Hug.
Laugh or sex?
Love.
Nice. Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you.
And then
Thank you.
I think you're the first guest who didn't think even a second. Sometimes people get stuck. You were so quick. Amazing. So before you let you go, please share to our subscribers, to the listeners, where they can find you and how they can get your products.
Sure. So you can find us at the moment only on our site. We will be, and we won't be anywhere else before a year or two. We just want to sell exclusively on this site, and so it's MiiRO.co, MiiRO.co, and if you type the coupon code FREEBAR, so no space, nothing, you can add, basically you will have like a free bar deducted at checkout. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much for giving the sale. So again, I will leave all this information in the description down, guys, below, so you can easily find it. And of course, you can also, I guess, find your company on Instagram, right?
Yes, exactly. On Instagram, on TikTok, on Pinterest, and Facebook.
Nice. Okay. And then all those links, guys, also going to be down below in the description section. I definitely recommend you, again, as I said, to try it out and use this code to have a special sale, which is amazing and so sweet of you, Rym, give us this sale. And again, thank you so much for showing up today and tell us your story. And thank you for being a part of changing the world and making amazing chocolates.
Thank you, Aurora, for having me and giving me the opportunity to share our story and basically our mission.
Yes, always welcome. And I hope to hear you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.